So my first instinct, always, when a dog kicks into reactivity or aggression, is shorten that leash.
Yeah.
Where I'm grabbing right by the collar.
Sure.
So as soon as you pull up, you have that leverage. The further up the leash, the closer to the handle you are, the less leverage you have. Sure. So that's always the first response. And then like where you have it, it's perfectly fine. Right? You wait a moment. Yep. Wait a moment. Tap, 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 tap. Yep. What's your number?
75.
Okay. So let's go to 85. So right there she triggered, right?
Yeah.
So why did she trigger?
The dog looked at her, I'm assuming. Like,
Tap.
oh, the tap.
The tap triggered, right?
Yeah.
So everything was good. Physically, you have the leverage. You're choking up on the leash, right? You were relaxed. There was no real tension. You tapped once, and then she whipped around this way. Then the dog passed her and she whipped around this way. And then you tapped, and then she blows up.
Yeah.
So the thought process is there. The e-collar merely unlocked in that moment, but it tells me that either 75 is not enough to dissuade the behavior. It'll stop it,
Yeah.
but it starts it and stops it, and we want something that just stops it. Does it make sense?
Yeah, we want to knock it out.
Yeah. So then, like, let's say in your experience in the week, you know, or it's been 2 weeks, right? So let's say the past 2 weeks, you're like, yeah, every time we tap her when she's staring, she always blows up. Then I go, then that tells me we're too low.
Okay.
Because the aversive is meant to stop things, right? But in the beginning, if you're too low, in some cases, it'll seemingly look like you're making the dog more aggressive. And I'll tell my owners, because you're too low that you're annoying the dog.
Yeah.
So the dog's, pissed off already, and you're just sitting there nagging at it, and it's just pissing the dog off more. And then they go at a higher number where you're at, and you're like right, you're trying to find that number that's going to shut it down but not trigger her.
Sure.
So you're at 75, she still triggers, but then within 2 to 3 taps, she shut it down.
Cool.
So that's what tells me you're close, is the fact of a couple of taps, she was able to just let it go. But we're wanting right off the bat, she's just like, whoa, okay. You're not wanting that trigger, okay? So let's say at 75 for the past 2 weeks has been giving you that response of like, yeah, she does trigger sometimes. Then I go 80, 85, 90, 95. What's gonna be that number on the get-go that's gonna shut you down and not cause you to react? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions? Have you talked to Maria about setting up the Zoom stuff?
I haven't because I was out of town, so
Gotcha.
I need to reach out to her to do that. Because you do it like during the week before 4 p.m., right?
Right. Cause like Monday through Friday through Monday, I'm like booked now.
Yeah.
Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evenings I'm booked, and then it's starting to leak into the days now.
Sure.
So I think at the moment, if that's what she said, then I would just listen to her.
Okay.
But I know from the past couple weeks, that's what my schedule's look like.
Okay.
And I know we have more people coming in too.
Yeah.
So, so just let her know, and then she'll get it all figured out.
Okay.
Anything else? Anything else about these guys?
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. Okay. So when you're walking with them, you're walking them separate, right?
Correct.
Okay. So the next step in your eyes to walk them together.
Oh, well, if it's us, like one person walking together,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that would be the preferred. That's how we used to do it before they attack each other.
You've been doing the muzzle training, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, remind me, are they one on each side?
I think we were walking them on one side together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're both on the left side?
Yeah.
Okay. Just trying to, I got a lot of dogs for now.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing I always keep in mind here is walking the two together is we want to get that reactivity completely squashed.
Sure. Because
Okay.
all it's gonna do is then make them.
Yeah,
stop.
and then you got two dogs being reactive, and then you get the redirect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wouldn't happen to have your muzzles today, do you?
No.
Okay. So we're gonna take a tangent while it's here.
Should I be tapping her right now?
So you want to wait a moment. There you go. There it is. So you see how she let it go?
Yeah.
This is on these ones.
So,
All right, here you
I was
go.
gonna say I didn't even tap her.
Yeah, right. So we're just watching it right now. Look at her mouth. Okay, now relax. Keep your hold, relax. Stress response breaks away. That's good. Okay. So here, as we advance, because it's like when to tap and when not to tap, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about.
Is at some point you have to give trust.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 2 points of trust here. There's the I trust you're going to behave yourself, right? Because I've been disciplining you. And then there's the trust of if you don't behave yourself, I know that I'm going to just get you to behave yourself.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand, right? So right here, and I actually I think on the first one, had you not tapped, I don't think she would have responded.
Yeah.
Which is fine. You know, if you start something, you just end it, no problem. Okay.
Sure.
Is here. I don't know if do you know how to read I show you like the passive and like tension and all that stuff with the face.
Not in the face.
So you see how she's panting?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's this is a bit of stress here.
Yeah.
But open mouth is typically venting stress or relaxation.
Okay.
When that first dog walked past you, her mouth was closed the whole time, and she licked her lips right when the dog went behind you. That was this is making me very uncomfortable. As soon as the dog passed, she started panting. That was preventing the stress of what just happened.
Okay. So
Then,
it's like people who tense their jaw when
Yeah.
they're stressed, and that's her way of closing her mouth as we're doing that.
yes, except this is a very common thing. Like, watch. See if she closed it?
Yeah.
And she adjusted her lips, right? Now she has puckering that nose. She licked her lips again. See that? Okay. Now she lets it go. Okay. So we're just reading this. Keep looking at it. Okay. Okay. She closes it again. Licks her lips. Okay. And she watch. Okay. She lets it go. Okay. So that closed mouth is tension loading. Okay. Doesn't always mean something's going to happen. Now she turns away the opposite way. Okay. So I'm reading these things here and I'm going, okay, she's staring, right? I don't like the staring, but I'm reading everything else, and you see how she turns her head away here?
Yeah.
That is good. The turning away is good. It's the locking on and staying locked on and the closed mouth the entire time that's not good, right? So what she's processing here, because for whatever reason, when she sees a dog, she gets stressed.
Yeah.
Whatever reason, okay? And she's like, all right, I see the dog coming, stress me out. What am I going to do? Let me just relax. Keep happening. Okay, nothing bad's happening, right?
Yeah.
Well, but if she's stressed again, she closes her mouth, right? That's literally the whole process. And then it passes, and then she's gone. And she goes back to open mouth. Right now, she's licking her lips again. That was in response to the runner putting across right here.
Yeah.
Right? So once you can read these things, it's like the easiest thing for me to teach an owner is open to close.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you're walking with her, and you see a dog approaching, you know, you get in position and you're watching that mouth. Open mouth, right? Then it starts to close a bit. That's what's going to happen. Opens again. That means she let it go. We're fine. It's happening. And probably right here, it's going to close again.
Yeah.
It passes. It opens again. Okay? Until eventually she learns, oh, I don't need to tense up at all. Like nothing happens.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, let's say you do that, and the dog that's passing then becomes reactive.
Yeah.
Okay, you're probably going to get a moment. You shut it down. It might set you back a little bit, not a lot, because now she's thinking, "Oh shit, this is what that was going to happen."
Yeah.
And then it happens, right? So that's why exposure is so important, and being consistent, and going out and really just like stepping out the comfort zone, because you're going to get a lot more bad experiences in the beginning, but that's how we make progress. Okay, so. But definitely, whenever you're with her, you want to. That's your responsibility. Right?
Yeah.
What I would also do is position her. So you see how you're holding your leash in your right hand?
Yeah.
I would have her on my right side then, right? So you wouldn't be in the proper positioning, obedience-wise. But she's across me like this.
Yeah, it's harder
This gives
to
you the
get.
less control. You want to be right there immediately next to her.
Okay.
That's much more comfortable. Okay. So don't worry about obedience with like if we teach it, you know, left side or whatever. Life's not going to allow you to have obedience. Now we're watching her again. See how she closes her mouth. See how she opens it. Watching. Open. Close. Okay. It's okay. Let it go. Open. See that? There you go. Now lightly pull up here. Okay. And relax. Watch her again. Open. Close. Open. Tap. There you go. Relax. Good. So right before she reacted, it was open, but did you see her lips pucker? It was probably hard from your vantage point, but that's what happened right before the reactive moment. Okay. So here, we had like 6 dogs pass by, no problems, right?
I think it's because that one was right there and turned and looked.
It looked?
Yeah.
That's a possibility. There's also what we call stacking, where you get a bunch of, like I've had people go like, Jesse, went on a walk, saw 100 dogs, no problem. Then on the 101st dog blows up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's 100 dogs. The stress levels are, you're going like, instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're going like 1, 1.5, 1 3/4, 2 in terms of escalation.
Yeah.
So then I go, okay, we saw 6 dogs, no problem. And then on this particular dog, closer looking, and just prior, she had the open mouth, but it puckered.
Yeah.
Okay, so from your vantage point, probably hard to see. So then I decide, then I would think to myself, okay, cool, that's one of her things now. I want to be here. So she's still next to me, but I can see the whole side of her body.
Yeah.
I can see the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the shoulders, the hackles, the tail. I can see everything. Okay. Now don't get so like this, right? Because you still got to pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Okay. But the whole thing of like dogs being unpredictable in my book is not a thing. Sometimes the cue is just super subtle for the average dog owner to see, or super quick. Because it can be a real quick just side glance before, boom, the dog gets into aggression. And if you don't see that, it's seemingly unpredictable.
It's, with them, we know it's a side glance.
So right there, this is where I start experimenting with trust. Okay. And it may be different in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay. But here I'm going, okay, cool, we had all these experiences, and now I'm just like sitting back and I'm going, look, I'm going to give you a chance to make some decisions here. If you make the wrong decision, 85.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was 3 taps at 85, right? I'd actually probably go to 95.
Really?
Yeah. The reason why is
Because
because it took 3, but also she took them no problem. Right? Now, ideally, we're not wanting yelping all over the place, but I do want a bit of concern. Ideally, I want it done within that first tap of like, whoa, okay, I'm backing off, no problem, right? So the quicker you can get it on a 1 tap kind of basis. The other thing is for her, like, you gotta understand, for dogs think very differently than people. If for her, she becomes reactive and it takes 3 hits at 85 before she shuts down, it'll be worth the 3 hits. 85 for her to keep repeating the behavior. That's what I was saying about 75 earlier. It's the same pattern. It's because it's worth it.
She's fighting through it.
Yeah. And dogs, again, fight each other. So this is, even though it's their language, they're very tolerant of physical discomfort.
Yeah.
Okay. My Chihuahua, I think a year ago, broke his jaw, split it in half. I didn't know. He was eating his food, his kibble. Okay. And then finally, because I was working and my cousin would walk him for me, he's like, hey, Poncho doesn't look good. And he sent me a picture, and I went home and I brushed his jaw. And they did the scan, and they're like, yeah, his jaw is broken. And what happened was, I was picking him up to put him on the bed, and he slipped out of my hand. And he fell, and he fell on his jaw, but he also has dental issues. He was a little bad. So all those things led to his jaw breaking, but I would have never known. Because he yipped, I thought it was a yip from falling off, you know? So then he was eating his kibble normally, drinking water normally, all that stuff was normal, you know?
Pain was worth it, though.
No, it wasn't worth it, it's just that he had the tolerance. The tolerance of like not showing, being able to handle it, not showing that. Like you find videos of dogs with broken legs on YouTube and they walk like not a problem, you know? So their tolerance for discomfort is super high, okay? In this case, we're talking about behavior in terms of risking it and thinking to herself like, yeah, lunging at this dog is worth the 85. You know, that paired with a tolerance for physical discomfort, you know, makes it harder. We also dealing with pitties here. You know, pitties are, in my experience, I've come to learn that they're super resilient. Okay, because it was bred into them. That's why when I get a pitty, I always tell people opt for the higher power, because when they go into any state of emotional, anxiety, stress, nervousness, fear, or aggression, it's much different than like a German Shepherd being like that, or you know, like a doodle or whatever. Okay, so anything else here? Okay. So let's do a quick review of the healing stuff that we covered last week. Make sure all that's good. Would you agree? Go to my cart and get my placemat. I am across the street by just west here on that Larrabee. We'll start with Abbie.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little crazy. Hey. She's like, oh, we're doing stuff again. Heel.
Good turn. Would you say there's an instigator amongst the two, by the way, for like the inside stuff?
It changes so much.
It's mostly her.
I would
Okay.
say it's her, right?
Yeah.
But there
Okay.
have been times where all of a sudden he started barking at her for what seems like no reason.
Okay.
Initially, it started off where it was all her, and then sometimes now it's him.
Reciprocating. Sure. Okay.
She just gets salty, like she'll give a side eye, and then all of a sudden they just start barking.
Okay. A little bit more. Good, and slow to stop. Good. I was going.
Seriously slow to stop.
That's okay. Let's go and swap dogs. What's your typical obedience number?
For her, like 46. Him is more like 30, isn't it?
All right, and then 95. We're gonna see what she does. So I'm watching that face, lip licking now, closed mouth, panting,
Yeah, that one's for sure gonna cause a reaction.
right? Watch. Closed mouth. Yep, tap. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. We're gonna make tap, 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 and you're at 95, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna make an adjustment here. Tap, tap, tap. There you go. So that collar, you want it up here,
Higher up?
the E collar. So at the base of the neck, it's less sensitive. At the top of the neck, more sensitive.
Yeah.
So let's switch this. So you're gonna put the E collar above your flat collar. All right. Try again.
Have you called him up a second? About the what?
Second remote.
We don't have it yet.
The answer is no.
If the answer is no.
Hey,
Oh,
Chris,
this
I'm gonna
button's
need
still wrong.
that.
Go ahead and just bump it.
95. So I'll be super.
So now she's getting more intense here.
Yeah.
See what happens. There's the puckering. Yeah, hold up. See what she holds. Better.
Wow.
Okay. So, do you know why she would hold that after the previous experience?
No.
When you called her on the last one, you called her and so she went, right? She made that weird sound.
Yeah.
So people go like, oh my God. I'm like, so? Dog's been a jackass.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, you took a lot of hits before she finally registered like, holy crap, 95 is going on.
Yeah.
Right? So that's still fresh in her head.
Okay.
Okay, that she just got disciplined good. And we actually just had an incident here yesterday where we did a socialization walk with the client's dog, and at the very end we were taking a picture, the dog attacked another dog. And they're all muzzled.
Yeah.
So she remoted, she corrected them, and the dog jumps back and goes, "Ah!" Right? But then was like, I want nothing to do with the other dogs. I'm not a problem. Okay? And I go, good, get back together, we're taking the picture now. Okay? So people tend to separate when they see something, and I go, no, address it, make it meaningful. Okay? So for a dog, meaningful, and depends on the dog, is sometimes you correct to the point where like, shit, sorry, I'm coming, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes, but that's not what we're always aiming for in the get-go, right? But I progress very quickly with dogs in terms of laying the discipline on because I know they're not going to die.
Yeah.
And I don't have an emotional discomfort with it because I've been doing this for 10 years. But for my owners, it's working them through the process.
Yeah.
So the quicker, if there is any of that emotional discomfort, the quicker you get through that, and the quicker like, yeah, we're just going to pile on the discipline until you learn your lesson, the faster you're going to recover. I have another client right now, same issue, reactivity. I've been telling her the same thing for 3 to 4 weeks now. And she's been at the same number for 3 to 4 weeks. And I kept going, you should already be on 100 or something.
Yeah.
But she's still like at 85. And it's clearly not working, you know? But I have to get, like, me doing it for her doesn't mean anything. It's got to be her on her own time. Okay?
I'd much rather crank it up, only have to do it once than have to keep hearing her make that noise, you know?
Yeah, so you just get out the way.
Yeah.
And then we see what happens, okay? So, we'll try one more with Stanley here.
Yeah.
Jesse, I have the Facility 3500 in my car. Do you want me to grab that? From Harley yesterday.
Oh, that should be fine. Reactivity-wise, is trigger in response to her? Okay. So if we get her out the way, she's not a problem.
The only time I would say she's a problem is when there's another dog at a fence that's going nuts. Barking.
Oh, sure.
And that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and you can stop that still.
Yeah. Hey, Chris.
Watch. Just look around.
Cracking me up.
There she goes.
I like.
Okay, there she goes. The other quick little glances. She's not wanting to lock eyes.
Yeah.
So, she's still not there yet. So, I know when we're going to be in her head because she's not even going to look at dogs.
Yeah.
She's going to see them, like,
And literally avoid eye contact.
literally just give her back, like, you do your own thing. I'm not. So if that happens,
Yeah.
I let it.
Yeah.
I don't myself get body block or anything like that. But if she decides, hey, I'm gonna just turn around and ignore this dog because that's how I'm gonna handle it, that's perfectly fine because she's doing it. She's making the decision.
Yeah.
I never do it for the dog. Okay, I'm always like, here it is. How are you gonna handle this?
Yeah.
Okay. So all that looked good. For next week, go ahead and have the next time I see you, have your muzzles.
Okay.
So we can start incorporating them together.
Yeah.
But what we'll work on is duration stuff for today. This will be something for us to utilize to start beginning coexistence. Duration work is simply when we place them somewhere, they have to hold that position for as long as I need them to.
Yeah.
Whether it be an hour, 15 minutes, 4 hours, they're not going to move off of that area. Okay. And we'll actually start with the troublemaker here.
You hear that, Abbie?
And your number is typically 45.
I'd say it's like 46 is usually what I wind up at.
Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll start with Abbie here, and we're going to be at 45 or whatever.
Come here, kid.
So this command, super lenient, it's very easy to teach. We simply go to this bed, don't move. Okay. So like, let's say if I get dogs into a room and can't even see each other, like we want to squash that correctly, like do correct reactivity.
Yeah.
But another thing is just like keeping them in place and that, how do you say, like learning just to be around each other. Okay. Now this does not fix or build the trust of, how do you say, coexistence again.
Yeah.
It simply controls so that we can get them to coexist and not always have them be separate.
Yeah.
When we do the Zoom stuff, we'll start talking about when they see each other in the home, you know, they're going to be muzzled, we're going to have e-collars on, we're going to be correcting them for any nonsense behavior and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that we start teaching them that's not allowed, and this is what we're aiming for, which is, you know, trying to get back to normalcy pre-fights as close as we can. Okay. So here with this command, have you guys ever taught place before? No. No. Okay.
Sorry, she farted.
Sure. Blame the dog.
I know, and that's her.
So, what we're going to do here is you're going to stand about 3 to 4 feet away from the area.
Okay.
You're not going to say anything, and you're going to choke up a little bit on the leash, and you're going to be tapping her, pulling the leash towards the placemat. Not a lot of pressure. Take just enough to direct her, and tapping on that 45, and you might see her buck around a bit.
Yeah.
Then you might give a bit more physical leverage to guide her until she pops all 4 paws on the area itself. Now, once she's on the area, you're going to stop that pressure. But should she step off of it, you're going to start tapping again and put pressure on her to lead her back on, but you're not saying anything.
Okay.
Okay?
So tap, 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 get her to stay.
As you're tapping, correct. Tapping the entire time
And no
until she
talking.
gets on there, and then you stop pressure when she's on, and no talking.
That's the hard part for me.
Okay? And I would position yourself so that she's on whatever side you're going to work on to make it easier for you to direct her. There you go. That's fine. Good. So a little bit of a pull, tap, slow taps, tap. There you go, right there. Wait a moment, and break. Break, release. You have a release word, right?
Break.
Break,
But,
yeah. So you would say break. Break is now is always a release word.
Yeah.
So
And
break
just
means
break means I leave her on there. Or
no. Break means she steps
done.
off.
Oh,
So
okay.
break is the end for all commands: sit, stay, down, come, place, heel.
Okay.
It means now you're off the clock,
Gotcha.
right? So, but you've been saying I think heel this past week, right?
We've been saying heel to get them to move, and then we say break when we want them to go to the bathroom.
Correct. So break means your job is done.
Okay.
When you're on the heel, it's, you know, go to the bathroom and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
here it's okay, you don't have to stay on there anymore. Okay?
Okay.
Now I'm gonna have you do slower taps. Now the reason why I told you to go to 45 and not lower is because I'm trying to get in her head pre-reactivity.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to make what you're saying meaningful. So in a de-escalated state, she should be much more sensitive, as you can see on 45 than earlier she was at 85, 95 for the reactivity. You see that huge difference,
Yeah.
right? So I'm trying to find a number that's going to make her more worried about what we're doing so that I don't even see reactivity in the first place. So you mentioned we usually end up on 45. So what does that tell me?
I start at 45.
You start at 45.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
And when I say we usually end there, because we have to change it for him, obviously, and for me. So.
Gotcha. Okay. What do you, on a walk, like what do you typically end at?
I keep her pretty consistently at that 45 number.
Okay.
And only when there's other dogs coming around. Like in our neighborhood, I want to say I probably shoot it between 65 and 70.
Okay.
Um,
So what I would probably do is when you start your walks would be at 65, 70.
really?
Yeah, because that's what you go to.
Yeah.
Right? So you're already in her head pre-reactivity.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're trying, again, the theory here is she's more worried about us than she's worried about the dog stuff.
Sure.
Okay? Because that constant jumping to having to stop her, I'm not saying that it's not an approach, it's a part of the approach.
Sure.
But at this point, it should be like very minimal reactivity.
Yeah.
Okay, now we've seen like maybe, I want to say 20% reactivity today.
Yeah.
But I can still see she's willing to
She's
do all
a
this
hog.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we're trying to get her again to be completely non-confrontational, completely I'm gonna mind my business, I'm gonna avoid the problem. I'm
Yeah.
gonna pretend it's not there. And we can do that simply by preemptively being higher
Okay.
to make her more panicked about us than about what's going on around her.
Yeah.
Okay? So go ahead and a little bit of leash pressure and guide her to the bed again.
And tap her while I'm doing it.
Yeah, very subtle leash pressure and slow taps. Tap, 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 tap. You got it. Tap. A little bit of more leash pressure. There she goes. Atta girl. Good. And wait a moment. And break.
Break.
Good. Repeat 3 more times.
She was not happy with me.
Well, if she wasn't being a bad girl, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
Okay. A little bit of leash pressure. Tap. 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 There you go. Very good. Tap. Tap. There you go. Relax. Up. Up. Tap. Settle her. Good. Okay. So now, because we're putting more discipline on her, her nerves are going up.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to give energy to that.
Okay.
Because you started baby talking to her. Okay. Now
I don't
you're-
even hear myself doing it. I think I'm being quiet.
we do this subconsciously, right?
Yeah.
You're so used to it. But you negate yourself when you do that stuff.
Sure.
Okay? 2 more. Break.
Break.
Right there. Good. Relax. Says dog. She goes. See how she doesn't want to look?
Yep.
Wait a moment, right? Relax your arms. There you go. Better. Good. Break.
Break.
1 more. Right there. Good. So on that one tap, she jumped.
Yeah.
She started moving there. I need to follow through. Okay. Now you look at her here. See where attention's at?
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about, being in her head prior to the problem.
Sure.
You're putting more meaning to things, right? Power. What we're achieving here is urgency. You always want to see urgency with your obedience, and you especially want to see when we're dealing with behavior stuff
Yeah.
like this, because it means it's important.
Yeah.
And if it's important, she's going to make sure she's really going to want to adhere to it because it's going to be for consequence. So we're not needing to be at 95 here, but she's
Yeah.
not in an escalated state of mind. But we're high enough that when she's in a passive state, she's getting super worried about what does mom want me to do.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to have you break her.
Break.
And what you're going to do now is you're going to cue the word place, and then you're going to follow with the tap and the leash pressure. Okay?
So place is my like trigger word to get her.
To get her there, correct. Okay, and you're only going to say it once.
And then I don't tell her.
Correct.
Place.
Tap, tap. There you go. Forward. Tap, tap. There it is. And relax. Good. And relax a moment. Good. So what happened there is you tapped her. She triggered into the motion.
Yeah.
Then there was a delayed tap, which was fine. And she goes, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to go to
No,
place.
I felt that.
And then I continue with the pressure, and I'm telling her, like, no, you're going to go here, right?
Yeah.
Because the brain gets confused. It's part of the process. We see it all the time. People tend to hesitate and go, oh, no, I ruined it. I go, no. Like, you have to clarify for the dog, and you have to make a complete task. Whenever you see her get frustrated and do that jump up
You
or
have
whatever,
to force through it.
yeah, and always up.
Yeah.
That up motion, okay? Because if you keep it slack or if you try to keep it towards the placemat, she's going to keep wanting to go against it, and that up de-escalates. Okay, so reactivity towards dog, you want to de-escalate this. Her frustration of trying to figure out what to do through high power, right? She's escalating, you want to de-escalate. And then that's what allows her to process what she's supposed to do next, okay? Break.
Break.
Good.
Break.
4 more. Yep. Now she doesn't want to get off, that's normal.
Place.
There you go. Good. There the girl. Break.
Break.
2 more.
Place.
Good. Break.
Break.
2 more.
Place.
All right. Good. Last one.
Okay, break.
Stanley since she's looking at her like, if you weren't being so bad, you wouldn't be here. He's like so chill.
Yeah, he's chill.
Yeah.
Place.
There you go. Excellent. Good. So now we're gonna make things a little bit harder. Okay. Everything stays the same except now you're not gonna do that step towards the placemat.
Okay.
You want for her to go there. Okay. And you're gonna start about at a 3 to 4 foot distance, though, right here. Okay. You're gonna cue the word place and use that tension to direct her forward, and making her shoot there herself with very minimal movement on your part. Okay. You're probably going to hit a bit of resistance here because we're putting more power than we normally would to get her to go there. Because she's going to think, this is too much power, I can't handle it. And you're going to be like, you're going to have to figure it out. Okay? Release.
Break. Alright, so starting like here.
Take a look. That's pretty good. And going to shorten your leash a bit more, probably like another 46 inches. That's good. So that gives you more directional leverage when you're pulling that way, okay?
So I say place, I stay put, and I'm just kind of shoving it with my arm. Okay. Place.
Tap, 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 up. Take one step forward. Careful. Tap. There she goes. Very good. So what did I say? I said she's gonna have more problems here, right? Because
she's relying on my body language to move her.
Correct.
So
those are like the training wheels.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm being a lot more, quite a bit more on her ass about it.
Yeah.
Because of the reactivity.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this has essentially been like 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Because I saw you now. I think I saw you for a week. I saw you. I don't think I saw you for no. It's like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. This is it. This is the third session.
This is 4 weeks.
Yeah. So she's had 4 weeks of formal e-collar.
Of this, yeah.
Yes, that ideally we'd be further along. Okay. So I'm trying to catch up on things, and that's why I'm doing it this way. Okay. Now we did get a redirect. You see the redirect? That's when she jumped up and she went in your arm down. Okay. That's the other reason why we have it shorter, because as soon as you went up, you removed yourself out of range.
Sure.
But also by having it shorter, you didn't have that leverage over the head. Okay. So do be very careful and mindful of this. And I keep myself out of the picture as much as possible to get her to go there, because that's frustration. Okay, this is not actively making her aggressive to you. She's not going to change her mind when they go like, you know what, we're enemies now.
Yeah.
Okay, the frustration of the higher power is pissing her off, and she's going, how do I handle this?
Yeah.
And we're teaching her that one, aggression is not a response. Okay, or the redirect, whatever. It's all the same stuff. It's the compliance.
Yeah.
You just do what I tell you. You just behave yourself. Don't be reactive. We won't have these conversations. Is how this is going on in your head. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. But just be mindful of that. If you start to see it increase, or if you feel like this is making me a little bit uncomfortable, you want to start popping on those muzzles. Okay. Let's do 4 more.
Break.
Shorten a wee bit more. There you go. Give about 2 inches of slack
2 inches of slack
on your leash, like that. That's good right there. Okay, and then place, pull forward.
Place. Place.
No repeats. Yep.
Place.
You're fine right there. Good. Break.
Break.
3 more.
Break.
Right. So pull, pull, pull. Just pull her. No tap. Just pull. Pull, 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 pull. There she goes. Good. So remember, you don't want to change that energy. Keep her energy direct. Okay.
Place.
Right. Forward. Slow. There you go. You got it. Right there. Good. Relax. Good. Break.
Break.
2 more. Rotate so that she's. I'm not a fan of her already being facing you. It's nothing aggressive. It's just her being super attentive.
Yeah.
But you have more leverage and control if you're at your side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Place.
Right forward. There you go. Good. Break.
Break.
Last one. And then you can just pivot around to reset your positioning. There you go. Good.
please.
There. We're gonna leave it there for a second. Very good. So here, are you seeing the difference with just having that higher number? One, how she's responding, like we're getting frustration at some points, right?
Yeah.
But like just how much, like look how worried she looks
Yeah.
about this exercise, okay? I don't really care about the obedience.
Yeah.
I care about the discipline that I'm putting behind the obedience, okay? Behavior and obedience are two different things. Obedience is super easy to do. If someone says like, just train my dog to be off leash, this and that, I go 6 classes, 12 classes, 9 classes, right? Like it's no problem. I know what I can get done within a time frame.
Yeah.
The behavior is always the variable.
Sure.
Okay, so if I have a dog that's like dog aggressive, human aggressive, whatever, I go, I think it's going to take around this much to fix this issue, and then the other stuff is going to take about this many classes. Because it comes down to the owner, how much do they practice? Are they really practicing the exercises to the degree that I'm telling to? Are they exposing the dog? Are they actually walking the dog in areas like this where it's like super busy and they're really putting the dog under stress?
Yeah.
And going like, hey, here's a bunch of dogs, what are you going to do about it? Like there's all those variables in play. When it comes to stuff like this and just getting in her head, it's pretty much, it's simple. Because it's just a superficial, put your butt on this thing and don't move and get there quickly. And yes, you better worry about what I say.
Yeah.
Okay. So here in the home, your number may be a little bit different to get this response. Okay, because right now we're outside, and I'm trying to account for that we're going to see dogs passing and all that stuff. So I'm operating at a little bit higher number than I would be in the home.
Yeah.
Okay, in the home it could be 25, it could be 35, but essentially you're looking for like this kind of response
Sure.
of where she's like a 10 hut, right? So like earlier she was right in front of you. It wasn't anything bad, but she's going, "What do you need me to do?" Okay, but it was not to your advantage if she's in front of you and you're trying to send her away from you. If she gets pissed
Just
off
jumps.
or agitates, right? Like she's already here. So that's why always that side by side is easiest to get the send, and you have much more leverage here than you would here.
Sure.
Okay? So questions about this so far?
No.
This here, you have 2 parts. You have the send, which is what we just talked. Okay. Then we have the go there, don't move part.
Yeah.
That you can start right off the bat. Okay, they're 2 separate things. This exercise, 2 to 3 minutes a day. If you reach the session, you're fine. Okay? Once you start seeing her go there, no problem. And this is with no help. Okay, just place, go. Right? You don't want to do the walkover. If you do the walkover, it becomes a part of the command.
Sure.
Right? So I right away, I progress very quickly because dogs learn very fast. And I progress. I typically do 5 reps. Okay. So we did 5 reps of the initial exercise. Then we did 5 reps of you cueing the word, and then 5 reps of you cueing the word without moving. That's how I was structuring these exercises just now. Okay, so when you go home and you practice, I would start from 0 with just the sends. Okay, from like 2 to 3 feet. Then you go do sends with the word 5 times, and if you see 4 out of 5 times she was good, then I progress to 5 sends with the word and me not moving. If you get it from 3 feet, then I go in different angles, by the way, because if you always send from one particular direction, dogs get really locked, like tuned into those things.
Yeah.
And if one day you decide to send her from this direction, she's gonna not know what to do.
Sure.
Okay. So right off the bat, I start going from different areas.
So do you think we can just take like one of the dog beds and have that be like the focal point? And,
Yep. It could be, so a place can be a mat, a rug, a towel, a blanket, a dog bed, an ottoman, area rug, anything with a perimeter. Okay. So I had a client use an area rug as a place.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Could I use that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's just a really big place that your dog can walk around in, right?"
Sure.
So this simply means go here, stay here. I don't care if you're standing, sitting, laying down, chewing on a bone, playing with a toy, whatever it is, but don't step off of the area.
Is there like, because I know you said that this is the first part to like to get them to like actually stay on there. When you say place, is there a command that you stay after that to let them know that this is
implied.
where they? It's implied.
Implied.
Okay.
So to create the implication of stay, you would place her, and we'll make. Let's say you're at home, you're gonna do home or work from home or whatever. You have the bed here, place, and you have the leash like under your foot or something. You're doing your work. 45 minutes goes by. She gets bored. She starts to try to sneak off. I don't say anything. I just tap. She should retract and go right back onto the area. That's what creates the stay. Because she goes, "Oh, I was put on this area by mom or dad. They didn't tell me to leave. I tried to sneak away, and consequence happened with no warning." Okay, that's the difference here, is no warning.
Yeah.
Most trainers and most people go with no and place, right, to bring the dog back. Now you've cued it. So now the dog thinks you've reset the command. So you've not taught them to not get off. You've just simply reset place.
That makes sense.
So when they try to sneak off and you remote them, they go, oh shit, like I can't even try to like sneak off or think about sneaking off. Otherwise, remote happens. There is no warning.
Yeah.
So in order to avoid that remote, I'm not going to jump off of the place itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how we get real fast duration work, is because we don't do any repeats. And at our facility, what we do is we also we cheat the system a bit. We have a bunch of columns, and we have placemats by each column. And once we teach dog place, we do duration work right off the bat.
Yeah.
And we just leash them to the column. So then when, if we're working with another dog, and we see that dog starting to stand up, we just correct them. Until they go back on, we don't even go near them. They have to correct themselves. And then we go back to training the other dog that we're working with. So then the dog thinks, oh crap, like, you don't even have to be near me in order to make me move back to the area itself, okay? So here, with the duration work, you could do 2 minutes, 2 hours right off the bat. Like, there is no warming them up to it.
Yeah.
We just right away go, here we go. We do 2 to 3 hours right off the bat. Once we teach it, you're expected to stay there. They're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
We're not expecting it to be perfect, but we expect them to hold that, to hold that position, and we will correct them and make them be there for 2-3 hours or whatever it is. Okay. Most dogs typically practice a lot of just do whatever they want within the home. Depending on the case, most cases it's just like people just need the obedience outside and stuff, for dogs are fine. In other cases, when we have things within the home, this is where like it starts to become more so kind of prison-like.
Yeah.
Where you have to control every decision they make.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we get those fights. And that's why when we spoke on the phone, I said, in my experience, people tend to be complacent. And a year to 2 years later, they're out of it. Next thing you know, they have an issue, and they're like, why? I'm like, well, because we stuff on the structure.
Yeah.
We made it very strict. It's like, for prisons, there's a lot of dangerous people there. And they have to coexist because there's armed officers and, lots of control, a ton of structure, right? Very severe consequences for things. So, you want to be ready with that up and away if needed. So it's similar in the sense that there's harsh consequences for wrong decisions, lots of control, ton of structure, not having that willy-nilly freedom that was there before, kind of like that's all out the window now.
Yeah.
And then we see what happens.
Sure.
Okay. Questions about this?
No, but you hear that Abbie, you're in prison.
You're in prison. We'll go ahead and release her, and we'll do a few reps with Stanley here. Okay.
Break.
Yep. Pull. There she goes. What's his number at typically?
30, isn't it?
He responds to it. I'll check my class.
All right.
Alright, perfect.
So we're going to start with that distance like you are there. We're not going to worry about the word at the moment.
Okay.
And you're going to just start tapping and little pressure towards the placemat. Yep. Right there. Attaboy. Good. Break. Good. One more. Yep. Attaboy. Good. Break. Good. 3 more. Break. Good. 2 more. Yeah, dog behind you too, by the way.
I saw that one and the one over there.
Yeah, there's a little doodle coming too.
Probably gonna do that with this doodle.
Oh yeah, that's getting
They
very close.
usually are big, floppy, poopy dogs.
Right, so go ahead and just pivot to your left a little bit. Good.
That was the first.
There you go. Good.
He's only doing it one now.
Yeah. So, different personalities, different approaches.
Yeah.
There he goes. Very good. So now what we're going to do, same thing as we're going to add in the word place. I'm going to have you stay about 3 to 4 feet away and see if we can get him with just the cue and the tap with a little bit of directional pressure, okay?
Place.
There he goes. Quick. He's gotten a lot better with the remote.
Yeah.
Like, remember the first day
He
how...
was like just all a shell
Yep.
of himself.
Place.
Good. Right.
Break.
Good. 3 more.
Place.
Break.
Break.
Good. 2 more.
I didn't even do that.
Good. 1 more.
Break. Place.
Very good. Excellent. Completely different,
Yeah.
right? So, I would really prioritize her.
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of the practicing the same thing for him, 2 to 3 minutes, a couple times a day, one session a piece. Once you feel like here, how you're able to just place him and he just runs there. If you see after 2 days if he just gets it like that, then I don't even worry about practicing it. I just go to application. Okay. But you will always at this stage have the leash and the remote on him.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you just do duration work. Same thing for this guy. You know, if there's a way to cheat the system, like I know some of my clients have like the old buildings, the old school radiators, and like right now the radiators aren't on, so they can use that to tether the dog's leash, put the place right next to it, and place them. So this way they can like go all over the place.
Yeah.
And then when their dog makes a mistake, they can correct them. The dog has no choice but to go back to the bed itself,
Yeah.
and then they go off to doing their thing.
Could probably put him like under the couch leg.
And do what's going to be applicable to you. I kind of feel like you'd be, at least for her, using this quite a bit in terms of length of time.
Yeah.
People tend.
You see, she loses patience. Like she.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If I know something about the dog, like you said, like not a lot of patience,
Yeah.
then I teach patience.
Yeah.
And then I make them do things for a very long period of time. And then we see how it progresses. And then just position yourself so that she's on your right there. I got a.
There's another one coming behind, but I think it's pretty old. I don't think she was
So yeah, for her, don't feel bad. 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
If all you can do is 30 minutes, you do 30 minutes.
And when you're saying this duration, you're saying to get them to like staying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we have the leash on like that, so that we have the means of control.
Yeah.
In case she tries to slip off, do keep it next to you at this stage.
Sure.
Don't try to place her away from you like across the room unless you have that cheat system like we have set up with the tether around, if you have like a radiator or even like a really sturdy table or whatever that she can't move.
Yeah.
Something just to anchor her, but she has the capacity to like get off, but she can't get away from it.
Gotcha.
Okay, and she has to figure out how to go back on there herself using just the remote is my preferred approach. If you feel like she's just not getting it, then you would use a little bit of tension to guide her there, and then go back to whatever it is you were doing. Okay, we don't want to repeat the command. We don't want to say no, and don't feel bad if it's like, oh, she's been there for 2 hours. But again, if it wasn't for the indoor fighting and if it wasn't for the reactivity and stuff, we wouldn't be here.
I think the first session I was definitely feeling really bad about how she was yelping and reacting. Now I know that it's because she needs to get, like, she's trying to get through something that she needs to just listen to as opposed to trying to fight through it.
Right. So, anything else?
What was that?
That was a good exercise.
I know, I was watching you smile and I was like, well, I'm glad you're having a great time with this.
I don't see what you're doing.
Yeah, right? Take Abbie.
So again, adjust her level for in the home.
Sure.
Okay. But even now, like at the 45, like she was, when it was fresh in her head, you can see how it, like, she was like okay.
Yeah.
But then as it started to resolve, now she's kind of going back to a normal, like, kind of scouting state. So just be mindful of that. I think I have a case where he is super avoidant, where he just like feel like his owner will be here and he'll like take his head and he goes like this and he just puts his head here and the dog passes and then he comes out and he's like, okay, I'm back. Yeah. So I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
So to give you a visual of like what real avoidance looks like,
What we wanted.
what we're trying to achieve, correct? Okay. Otherwise, you have your homework. Revisit the muzzle stuff.
Yeah.
Have they worn it for any period of time?
Probably like 10 minutes at a time.
Okay, cool. And how have they been with them?
She's had to wear one in the past, so she's better with it than he is. He's like a sad little cage dog with it on. But I think like if we keep giving him the treats with it.
Gotcha. So what we're gonna do this week for your walks, have them start wearing them.
Yeah.
And then once they're done with the walk, to remove them and stuff, just to get them used to having it on. If you see them trying to remove the muzzle, let me know.
Yeah.
And I have some videos I can send you of how we force the fish to use it.
Oh, that might actually be helpful because they do try and like paw.
Remove it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of videos where we had to force train it with the remote.
Yeah.
It's a bit rough, but it almost always happens because
Yeah.
since you're removing the primary source of defense and you put them in a stressful situation, almost always in my experience they want to remove it.
Yeah.
So then we have to use the collar to get them to cut it there. Even if the owner's done like a ton of positive conditioning,
Yeah.
because they're in a stressful environment and they feel threatened and they need to defend themselves, they're gonna want to fight that. Okay. So add it. Just put it on them when you go for your walks.
Okay.
Start having them more and more around the house just every now and then.
Yeah.
But definitely on the walks for sure.
Because you want us to bring them next week.
Correct, because we're going to be doing because otherwise, if you've not done that, and then you try to do it the day of, and they're bucking around fighting the muzzle, that's going to be in the ass. So we'll get that out the way this week, and also so we can start prepping them for the inside integration stuff. We're going to want the muzzle to do well. Okay, so we're going to start adding that. I would start that today.
Yeah.
And then if you have any issues, let me know so I can send you those videos and say this is where you want to watch.
Sure.
With how we force condition. Okay?
Perfect.
Awesome. It was good seeing you guys. Anything you let us know. Otherwise, keep me updated, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.